Welcome to Informs What's Your Story? I'm Kara Tucker. I'm the editor of ORMS Today and Analytics magazines at Informs. Today I have Natalia Summerville. She's the Director of Decision Science at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. And you've been an Informs member since 2012. I looked it up. So
yes, that's true.
How many years? 13.
Yes,
so
that is true.
That's as long as I've worked at Informs actually as well.
Okay.
So look at us. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our Informs YouTube channel. We're going to begin with a seasonal question. And what's your favorite thing to do once the weather starts to warm up as it is?
Well, I actually don't like warmth. I don't like the sun.
Oh.
I know. I'm like a vampire. So towards this, right now is okay, but towards the summer, I start hiding.
Okay.
So I go into,
okay.
So the last 3 months of summer, but right now it's nice. Plus, in April is my daughter's birthday and my birthday. It's like just 1 day separated. So it's always nice.
Perfect. So it's a fun time of year for you and your family. That's great. So on your career, let's start with how you became interested in this field first and what your main career expertise is. Let us know.
Yeah, I studied industrial engineering in undergrad, knowing that I love math, but I didn't want to go for theoretical math, more applied. And then once I kind of was researching, I realized, well, that's what industrial engineering is. And then within industrial engineering, I narrowed down like operations research, where that's exactly what it is, right? It's applied math. So kind of that's how I got there, and I've loved the field since the beginning. It's really my thing. I love kind of that ability of, looking around you and listening to a business owner or like a problem, and then going and translating it into equations, math, and then helping them solve it. It's just the whole concept, the logic of it. I'm still in love with the profession.
Yeah, it's very obvious. You're very inspiring. So you seem to have worked a little bit in industry, and you have your foot in academia too, correct? Mm-hmm. You're an adjunct professor.
Yes.
Where are you? Duke, yes. So give us some pros and cons to each, why you ultimately landed more in industry roles, but for those who might be looking for their career path, what would you say about each of those?
Sure. Well, I've always worked, since I finished the PhD here in the United States, I've always worked in industry. Mm-hmm. But I've loved teaching way before, actually, because I come from Mexico and I taught there for several years. So when I went for my PhD, I actually thought I was going to teach. Mm-hmm. I was going to go for an academic career. But then I had an opportunity to join SAS, which was so amazing that I stayed in industry. But I still have the passion for teaching. I absolutely love that. So kind of the way I've been balancing it is work for companies that allow me that space, a couple hours a week, such that I can teach. And I've been given opportunities, with NC State. I taught several classes as well. MIT, and currently Duke has been for 4 years now. With Duke, what I love it is I teach at a Masters of AI, and I convinced them to do an optimization class as a topic. Okay. So I'm very passionate about it because normally they wouldn't know, what optimization operations research is, but now they do. So I'm kind of very excited that it worked out, and so that's like kind of an extra thing for me.
That's awesome. So what's one thing you might tell your students advice-wise in moving forward in their career?
Well, it's learned. Funny. One thing that I always tell them is actually not be afraid of changing, because while I'm in love with my profession, I have changed, kind of through different veins. And I always tell them that, you have to do your research, find what you're passionate about, what we always say. Right. But then don't be afraid that knowing that, in 5 years, you change, everything changes. And you may want to, experiment other areas, other companies, and don't be afraid and go and do that. One thing that I told them is, it's much easier to change jobs than getting a divorce. Divorce takes a minute. So take much more care when you choose your husband, or wife versus the job. Jobs are easy to change. So kind of like that's a message I always communicate.
That's helpful for any industry or any field.
Yeah, I think in general, kind of being open to change.
So tell us about who your mentors were, who helped shape your career, and then maybe how you approach mentoring the next generation of data scientists.
I think when I'm asked that, I always think about my boss when I was back in Mexico. So he was the Dean of Engineering at Monterrey Tech and Morelia campus, and I was in charge of the undergraduate degree program in industrial engineering. And one of the things that really stuck with me is I went through kind of really hard professional challenges when I was working for him, and kind of related to my PhD studies. And I was very close to, not finishing the degree. And kind of the way he supported me, the way he and I always remember what he said is kind of what defines me is not how I act or what I do when things are okay. But in these challenges and these really tough situations is when he wants to see me being me. And that really stuck. So I'm always think about him. And then Radhika, of course. She's like our icon, she's amazing. She's somebody to kind of look forward. Her compassion, her kindness, while being brilliant and strong, professional woman. She's just, I know so many of us kind of look up to her.
Yeah. She's an INFORMS superhero.
I know, she's an icon,
for sure.
Yes.
So you mentioned you almost didn't finish your PhD. What do you think you would have done if you didn't?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, so when I before the PhD, I did have a master's. So I was already teaching then.
Okay.
So I probably will have stayed back at the university in Mexico and just kind of keep teaching. And it just meant that certain classes I wouldn't be able to teach.
Right, okay.
But I also probably wouldn't come back here to the United States. So it's because I decided to go back, and I'm very happy that I did. It absolutely has given me tons of opportunities having finished the PhD. That's why I was able to kind of come here and get a job here.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So you worked at SAS for 11 years before you went to Sloan Kettering. So what has been most surprising since you ended up in healthcare?
Yeah. So SAS was, by the way, absolutely wonderful to work with, as everybody knows. I was kind of interested in going specific for healthcare. At SAS, I had kind of customers across different industries. But what was surprising is actually how hard it is to implement things. We kind of, we build solutions, models, that perform well, either predictive, optimization, but it's extremely hard to get them to the point where they are in production, running, and more importantly, being used. So kind of the care that we have to have while incorporating the user's feedback way early on, kind of to get them on our side, to make sure that, we're providing what they truly need, not something, that is interesting technically, but what do they truly need, even if the model might be simpler, and thinking about that implementation and that usability, if you will, early on. Otherwise, you build a model and it can be beautiful. And if nobody uses it,
right,
that's it, right? So kind of really, there's a very, very strong focus on implementation and kind of driving towards that impact versus just building, an innovative model. So.
Okay. Thank you. So you seem very energetic and very passionate, but be honest, how much coffee does it take to power a day of data science at Sloan Kettering?
Well, I think 1, maybe 2 cups of coffee a day. My husband makes me the first one when I'm very cranky in the mornings. Mornings is not my favorite time, but MSK is actually really good, with people as work-life balance as well. Okay. So work is exciting, and sometimes we have to work, overtimes or weekend, but it's not common. And most of the time, kind of work within decent hours. Yeah, so it's been great.
So there's a movement called Data for Good. So just tell us quickly about this movement and particularly your involvement with milk banks.
Sure, that's my favorite. So Data for Good is a concept of using data, and the concept came up long ago when kind of data was gaining popularity. Right nowadays is data science, analytics, AI, but it's all with the same concept, you know, AI for good, data science for good, analytics for good, which is using kind of those skills for organizations whose mission is to support and to help humanity in any way. Kind of that's the concept. And there are so many wonderful organizations. They operate with a very basic budget, and they cannot hire people like us. So we can come up and really help kind of using their data if we know how to focus on the right problem and kind of solution for them. Milk banks, well, I can talk for a couple hours if
let's keep it at 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Boring.
But yeah, so I got into milk banks when my daughter was born and she had some complications. So we were kind of beneficiaries of that benefit. And then I learned how amazing organizations are. I didn't know anything about milk banks before, and they actually have tons of data. They have a lot of data, and they are like a little biomanufacturing, you know. They have tons of operations and tons of logistical questions that we can help with. It's been really, really fascinating. And I started working with one of them, you know, volunteering with one of them, and then getting more and more. And I'm just fascinated by what they do, you know, as well as those amazing moms that donate the milk. Yeah.
The Milk Bank Initiative is a volunteer thing that you do, correct?
Yes.
So, and you've been deeply involved with INFORMS Pro Bono Analytics as well. So tell us how INFORMS has amplified this work, and where do you see the greatest opportunities to make smarter decisions for a better world?
Yeah, absolutely. Pro Bono is a wonderful organization, and the way Pro Bono functions is we have a pretty large list of volunteers that kind of sign up to our email list, and whenever there is an opportunity that we as a committee, we scope, they basically apply for that opportunity. So it's kind of like a matchmaking exercise. And many of the projects that I've done with milk banks over the last couple years has been with volunteers, you know, that have applied through Pro Bono. So I kind of manage those projects through Pro Bono, which helps, you know, with structure. And it's been wonderful. I think it's a great group of people with the knowledge and the skills on interviewing nonprofits and understanding where exactly can we come in, how exactly a volunteer, so somebody who maybe is going to just be working a couple hours per week, how can the volunteer help? So it's a wonderful organization.
Do you know any other exciting pro bono projects off the top of your head that other people are currently working on, or that you've maybe been involved with other than the milk banks?
Yeah, I've been involved also with animal shelters. We have a project with, I can mention that, right? Ego's Friends, which is the CEO. She's this wonderful lady, very passionate about neutering and helping overall society through animal welfare.
Okay.
And we've had already a couple projects with her, actually. So
great.
It's been really great. Yeah.
So, thank you. From your vantage point, how can INFORMS and its members help ensure that analytics and AI are used responsibly and equitably, not just efficiently? The ethics are big right now.
I think it's a lot about communication, actually, you know, not being afraid of calling out if you read something, if you read a paper, and, you know, with your community of professionals as a student, you know, with your professors, or if you've already graduated with your colleagues, kind of calling out situations where you do feel that the technology is going beyond than what it should go. I think it's about communication and calling out, you know. Yeah.
So tell us, you're obviously very passionate about everything we've talked about today. What's something else that you're passionate about that maybe your colleagues don't know, or a special hobby you have, something you're really good at, or sort of good at?
So I'm actually a violinist.
Oh,
but I'm not sure I'm passionate about it, but okay. I'm relatively good at it.
Yeah.
I was born in a family of classical musicians.
Okay.
My mom and dad, and I was meant to be a violinist.
Oh, okay.
So since I was 5 years old, you know. And so I all the way through high school, I was also going to a conservatory, and then I started working in orchestras, and I broke my mom's heart by choosing industrial engineering over music.
Broke the mold.
Yeah, and so while I was still in college, I was actually like working in orchestras and so on till I kind of graduated, and then I refocused and left violin. But I play from time to time.
I was going to ask, how often do you still pick it up?
Maybe like twice a year or something like that.
At parties?
Yeah, with like my mom. So my mom, she organizes this little like events, at her house with just close friends, and I've played a couple times with her.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Is pink your favorite color? I noticed your nails today
think about it. Let me think about
the tinsel hair. My girls have the tinsel hair right now.
Oh, yeah.
When did you discover that the pink was your color for your hair?
Well, I've loved pink for a very long time, but I've had pink hair for about 6 years now.
Yeah.
I kind of started, with just a few highlights, and then like,
went for it.
And then just now I can't imagine not having it.
It's your signature. Thank you. Well, thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below on your favorite springtime activity or your favorite new hair color. And thank you, Natalia, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful.
Yeah,
thank you.
This is fun. I was glad to get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks, Karen.
I've talked to you before, but this was fun.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.